Welcome to the Kop TV, the voice of football's most famous stand.
Hello and welcome back to the Kop TV, episode 9 of Hot Kopics. Myself, James Redman.
Bam! I didn't even see the spot, to be fair.
Oh, that's poor from you. And we've
The
also got Tony
table's
Kopite on as well. How are we, fella?
Nice to be here, boys. Nice to
It's
be
good to
here.
get you on, fella.
Yeah, nice
Yeah,
one.
man. Listen, Tony Kopite has been around really since the start of the Kop TV, way back. So it's nice to get him on.
Legendary.
Yeah,
Saw
nice
you on the
to join
fan
us,
cams
boys.
yesterday as well.
Yeah, talk
Always
about the
good
Reds
to
on a
have you.
Monday afternoon. Can't get better,
Can't
can
get better, lad.
Speak into this mic a little bit there, Tony. I know it's difficult, maybe move across, but
Nah, there we go.
listen, there's no better place to start than yesterday, lads. I mean, emotions were high. I was in the park pub watching that one, and I don't know if you've seen some of the scenes after. There was guys getting kicked out, you know, throwing their tops all over the place. One of them wanted to take his trousers
I didn't even
off.
see this.
There was a City fan in there celebrating. He got kicked out. The emotions were crazy, James, weren't they?
Oh, it was
What a
madness,
game.
lad. I mean, one thing I have to say first of all is that it was a great game, and Liverpool and City just never fails to disappoint. And the one thing that I've noticed about this fixture, at least over the recent 10 years, it's the biggest fixture in the country, because there's no teams that have set the precedent that us and City have set. You saw the points tally. I think, you know, I saw something yesterday from August 1st, 2018. Us and City have accumulated the most points. That we've accumulated, I think, 280 points, and they've got 279, or it might be like 270.
297
We've
and
got
296
we've
or
got
something.
1 point more
Yeah.
than them either way. Something ridiculous. I mean, you can't even think, because the team below us is like Chelsea or someone, and their numbers isn't even close.
Yeah.
It's like 50 points off.
Yeah.
And then you've got United, Tottenham, etc. These teams, Pep Guardiola and Jurgen Klopp, I talk about these two as the elite. You know what I mean? These are the two managers that even Tuchel, as great as he's done at Chelsea, you don't put him in that conversation
Not
yet.
yet.
The one manager outside of the Premier League is Hansi Flick. That's the one that I can say, you know what, if anyone deserves to be in that category, at least it's Hansi Flick. But no one has done what Jurgen Klopp has done. You know, Pep Guardiola has accumulated them points with the money that he spent. That's a factor. You know, yesterday when he brings on Raheem Sterling, a £50 million player, an established player at that club, that's a big player to bring on, and he made a difference. Raheem Sterling was quality when he came on, got the assist for their goal, for Foden's goal, who also every single time he turns up against Liverpool just seems to be fucking messy. You know what I mean? He's just boss, lad.
Yeah,
he gets goals.
he wears it on his sleeve.
All round, City are a quality squad. So a draw against them isn't that bad. But I was trying to echo to you yesterday in the interview that it's not the draw, it's not just the draw against Manchester City, it's the fact that we drew against Brentford, and then you have the lead twice in that game, and then you have the lead twice against Manchester City, and quite frankly you don't capitalise. You concede a goal 3-4 minutes after. That's not acceptable when you're going for the title race, because we know the margins.
Let's talk about the first half performance, Tony, because obviously the second half, much better from both teams, 4 goals. I know you were keen to talk about the first half as well.
Yeah, do you know what? I watched it back last night, and it was probably worse in retrospect watching it. I heard Klopp say last night that the crowd was ready, the fire was lit, and he served us cold chips. You know, I couldn't have said it better myself in terms of individual performance and synergy within that team. It was probably the worst first half since the dark days of last winter, since we lost those home games. I don't know whether it's because, you know, we're so used to having that starting 11, give or take 1 or 2 players. You know, you take Trent out, Curtis is still quite new to the role in the team.
Defo.
Just slightly off kilter, but it had a knock-on effect. I don't think anyone done themselves justice in that first half. There was a period in the first half where we give the ball away every 10 seconds for about 5 minutes, and it was, you know, the Kop died, the atmosphere died, and, you know, we had a couple of big tackles by Robbo. You know, the fire was lit again, and they seemed a bit nervous to me. They seemed a bit nervous.
Seemed rattled.
Yeah.
So he's just hit it nail on the head. We seem rattled by Manchester City. We gave them too much respect. And I say too much respect, I know they're a great team, but I go at them a little bit more. You have one chance in that first half, whatever it may be. And I think it was the one where Salah got blocked or whatever. I can't remember us having a proper good chance.
You know,
that's not good enough for 45 minutes of football.
They're engrossing affairs. You know, you mentioned before it's been us and them since 2017, 2018, and I don't think I've ever really seen tactical battles between managers ebb and flow over games and seasons since Wenger, since Mourinho, since Ferguson. You know, when Klopp first came, I take it back to a comment that I'd read over the club saying we needed to gain PR through good attacking football. Yeah. And at the start we were amazing, we'd score 1 million goals, but we'd concede 900,000 goals. You know, it was like having a machine gun. Yeah. You know, scattergun bullets everywhere. And as the seasons have went on, we've tightened that lens ever so slightly, till when we won the league, we were snipers. Boom, boom, goal, win. Seems like we've taken a step back. I don't know whether this is tactical.
In terms of goals, you think we've stepped back?
In terms of goals conceded?
In terms of game management, game control, a little bit. Okay. It seems like, you know, when we won the league, if you remember, there was a lot of 1-0s, there was a lot of 2-1s. Yeah. We forever scored in the last 10, 15 minutes, 5 minutes, and we seem to have just opened our lens ever so slightly a bit more. Come on, let's go and attack, let's go and flow. I don't know whether that's due to necessity. You know, I don't want to mention players who aren't here, but we did lose Wijnaldum, a lot of talk of him over the summer, and he was a control and influence in the midfield. When you see his replacements this year, whether it's Harvey Elliott, Kopite, Jones, you know, the Ox who's still waiting to get his foot on it, really, they're attacking players. We haven't controlled the games as much as we have, but I just wonder whether that's just the way the cards have fell, or we've been told, no, let's go out and score some more goals this season. Yeah.
You make a good point there. If we look back at the last 2 games, we've conceded 5 goals. Yeah. Chuck in the one against Porto, that's 6 goals in 3 games, 2 goals per game at the minute. Is there a shout? I saw someone say on Instagram this morning, is there a shout to maybe bring in Konate to this central defensive partnership? And also think about the right back position. Milner was got booked. Do we bring Joe Gomez into that now? What do you reckon,
right back, fair enough, but you don't change the centre backs for me. I think Matip and Berge is still our best centre back partnership. In my opinion, it'd be a little bit ludicrous just to not trust them after 2 games, shaky games. Because you know, Matip is, in my opinion, has a better season than Berge. Agreed. And I'm not saying Berge has been bad, but I'm just saying, and you're not going to drop Berge. So who are you going to drop? Because you don't deserve. You can't drop the best centre back in form, and then you can't drop the best centre back in the world.
6 goals in 3 games.
So then now you look at the right back. So then you have James Milner, who's in a game where it's high intensity. They know they're going to go down that side a lot, and it doesn't matter whether we've got Trent there or Milner there. The right back is asked to do a job where they're bombing up and down the pitch constantly. A right back for Liverpool is a different right back for anyone else, because for anyone else they don't have to do the work that our right back does. You know, we even saw the stats while Trent was on the bench, well, not the bench, but he was on the sidelines yesterday. It was like first in chances created, most passes, like whatever it was. He's so important to our team, but that's not why we lost though. The reason why we lost is because there was moments of lapse of concentration. We even brought on Gomez, and he overcommitted to certain tackles at times. But I do believe if you do start Gomez and you give him, if you let him know that's your role, you are the right back when Trent isn't there, then it's something that he can prepare for, and I think that's something that you should prepare him for. People are saying Konate. If Konate's good at right back, I haven't saw him there. I've saw Gomez at full back, so I know that I can say, right, we can give him a chance there. If Konate's good, give him a go. I don't care. I don't give 2 shiny shites, mate. Just give us the best possible chance to be in the best defensive setup, and one of them 2, I believe, would be a better option than. But at the end of the day, we were all asking for Milner to start at right back. You know what I mean? And it just turns out it was too much for him in the game.
What did you think of Milner yesterday? Because
he should have got sent off.
Times in the game where he did good bits, he was cracking on a tackle, and everyone loves that because that's what he's known for. But if we're being honest with ourselves, he should have had 3 yellow cards.
Yeah, do you know what? Milner's Milner. I think it's easily forgotten that, you know, most of his career he was a winger, he was an attacking midfielder, and this is just the way he's built. They don't build him like him anymore. You know, he has got attacking instincts. Most assists in the Champions League, stuff like that.
More than Ronaldo and Messi since 17, 18.
More than Ronaldo and Messi, but he's like an old school doorman. He's like a 60-odd-year-old doorman who's not happy. He doesn't feel like he's been to work unless he's give a couple of knuckle butties out. You know, he's showing you the toilet with your arm up your back. And I think the referee looked at him and was like, that's what you do. If I stop you doing this, well, you know.
But then on the other side, to play devil's advocate, Pep said in the interview after, he said, if that was a City player at Anfield or at Old Trafford, they're getting booked and sent off.
See, do you want me to tell you why I don't agree with that? Because I think I've saw decisions over the years go against Liverpool. Like last season, there was so many VAR decisions that was given against us. We could have said that there was some sort of conspiracy against Liverpool. it just happens, in my opinion. Like, I don't know, I just don't buy into any favouritism towards any team. I don't think there's any favouritism towards United. I don't think there is to Liverpool. I don't think there is to City.
It's just the rub of the green.
It's just, it is what it is. We know that English officiating is bad, so why are we going to say, oh, it's all corrupt, when we know the problem is someone who's actually in control of the game? They don't do a good job on a consistent basis, because near enough every fucking fan complains about the referees. So let's actually talk about what the issue is. It's the thing we're complaining about. It's right in front of our eyes. So why are we just going to say, oh, it's corrupt? Like, that's just maybe it is. Maybe it might be. You never know. Could be some seedy shit going on. I don't know.
There's
the end of the day,
play,
it might be.
You know what I mean?
Fucking too right. There could be. Like,
controversy's exciting, isn't it? You know what I mean?
To Sir Alex and whatnot. And listen, if that's the case, then that's not right. But there's just based on the pattern, it doesn't always go Liverpool's way. And if we was like paying them money to win games, then it's not really working.
And let's be honest, we haven't got any money. We're not paying anyone to win anything, are we? But it takes me back to the Burnley game a few weeks ago. That was half American football. They could have hurt a few of our lads.
Well, they tried to get Harvey a few times.
Yeah, a few times. You know, they were hard. It was tough. They were smashing us left, right, and centre. So if you take that as a direct comparison, he stuck his leg out. You know, it is what it is. But if they're trying to let the game flow, which seems to be the new directive, I don't know whether it's the FA, don't know whether it's Sky, because it does seem to be every game.
No,
it's gone from that VAR line, which is the bone of contention every week. Lots of clicks, lots of hits, lots of comments to should they have been sent off. That seems to be the new thing. But I seen the way Burnley carried on with us, and if none of them got sent off, Milner's well in.
Listen, it's how it goes sometimes. You get some, you don't get some, but it still remains that Liverpool are currently the only English team unbeaten in that, the Champions League, and unbeaten in that.
Exactly.
So that's why we've got both the trophies there.
I'd smile more, but I don't
listen,
care.
this will make you smile more.
I don't care.
The man who has almost single-handedly helped us to win both of these trophies behind us, Mo Salah, right? We mentioned that we weren't maybe getting the ball to him enough in the first half, but sometimes he just takes the game by the scruff of the neck, gets the assist for Mané, which actually, if you look at it, the play leading up to that pass is unbelievable. And then the goal itself, I said on the fan cam yesterday, if Messi scored that, you remember that Messi goal against Bayern when he's put Boateng on his arse?
Yeah.
Well, if anything, Salah was better yesterday, and I feel like now people are starting. I feel like yesterday was for a neutral, a real turning point, because there are actually, Salah is outrageous, and we're talking about contracts. He's the one name that we still haven't nailed to the pin. What's the crack there, Tony? Talk to me about the goal, and then we'll go on to the contracts.
You know, the goals were obviously amazing, and I think in a wider view of Salah, you know, I'm a big sports fan, and I really admire top athletes. You know, Michael Jordan, Tom Brady, you know, Federer, Djokovic, and Salah's got this aura about him. You know, where every year he's looking to improve, and you know what, he does improve, because he hasn't had the easiest ride. You know, I remember times a couple of years ago where he hadn't scored for 8, 9, 10 games, and a few people may be on his back, but he's jumped over these walls, he's smashed through them a lot, and he's made himself a better player every time. Personally, I feel like he's looked at stuff. You know, Harry Kane last year got most goals and most assists, which when you think about it in the Premier League, that is outrageous, do you know what I mean? And it looks like he's looked at himself. Him and Mané have had a good word with each other. Maybe they've had a little bottle of wine or a little coffee or whatever, and said, we can score as many as we can.
Can I just say something on that? I don't think there was ever a problem between them.
I don't think there was a problem, but
Salah
does love just shooting.
Do you want me to tell you why I don't think there was a problem? Because Mané does it as well. Mané shoots on goal and whatnot. They just want to win. So sometimes, you know, when they shout at each other, just think of that as maybe two competitors. But everyone is just like, they make it into this proper bitchy thing. Oh, they're arguing. Like, make the winners, the Premier League winners and Champions League winners, for a reason. They got 97 and 99 points back to back for a fucking reason. Back to back Champions League finals, because they're winners. They compete.
That's a great point.
That's just the way it happens sometimes. So what we want to go? So we want to go and see what was going on last season between Man United and Man City, where John Stones and Harry Maguire, after the draw, about them in arms. You know what I mean? Giving each other high fives. They want to win football matches. I'd rather Mané go off against Burnley absolutely fuming, oh fuck off this, that, to Mo Salah if he's not squaring the ball to him, if it helps us win the game. I don't care.
And obviously that not squaring the ball, you know, I'm into the way Liverpool give contracts, everything's performance based. you know, we'll give you so much, but then you play, you get more, you win, you get more, you score, you get more. Every time we didn't pass to him, Mané was probably losing about 50 grand. And once you get that a few times a season, you think, you've cost me $500,000, Mo, do us a favour, mate, I've got mortgages to pay here. And you know what, sometimes I think it is on that. You know, they played a little bit individual for periods, but this season it seems like a concerted effort to get closer together and play with each other rather than on opposite flanks and being two separate attacking threats, you know, between them. They work more than the sum of the parts. Salah's amazing, Mané's an absolute warrior. Both of them together is scary.
I think last season there was maybe a shout for people to actually see them arguing on the pitch or arguing whatever and say something. But this season, if anything, Salah's been putting it on plates for Mané and he's not been scoring as much. So yesterday, when Salah breaks through, puts that amazingly weighted ball through and Mané...
Great run from Mané as well, by the way.
And when Mané celebrated with Mo, you could just see they were back on, like Mo loved that as much as he loved scoring the goal.
I don't think they were ever off. This is the thing. I think there's like a misconception. I know you agree with me, but I just mean for the viewers and like neutrals who watch this show as well, because the neutrals are the ones who really think they have a problem. I don't think they were ever off. Like there's still, like even after the games where they were like not passing to each other, I'd see them passing to each other and creating chances for each other, and I'm just like,
people love to jump on.
You know what I mean? But like, another thing as well, they're on two completely different sides of the wing, so maybe not all the time they're going to be in a situation where I swear to you, you know, there's loads of players that come in between that process. You know, and based on performances, you've got to look at the way they play, the way they approach the game. They're both always trying to win. That's just the conclusion of it, isn't it?
We were talking about contracts a few weeks ago, but then he's played so well since then, and naturally it has
give
to
him
be
what he wants.
again.
Give him what he wants, lads.
There's this talk about wage structure and the way that
give him what he wants.
Don't like to really break the structure. Tony, what do you think about this contract? Is it going to happen, and what does he want?
I think I'd love to have his agent, to be honest, because every time he does anything, everyone just says, give him £500,000 a week, which is a big shout. You know, we heard rumours about other people's
but that's not what he wants.
Rumours about other people's contracts, you know, whether it's Ronaldo or Messi, but we don't actually know exactly what they're getting paid. No one's seen a pay slip, do you know what I mean? So we don't know how far. You know, we heard the other year Rashford, Rooney was signing for like 300, 350s. Don't know how much it's went above that. I just look at the way that we give our contracts. Our contracts are all performance related. So you'll get your basic, you'll get your win bonus, you'll get your your starting bonus, and then you'll get your goal bonus. It will all be there for them. I personally think it's more of a matter of the fallout from COVID. We've had to sign a lot of other people. You know, we've had to tie a lot of other people down. And, you know, if the lad's playing for his contract, long may it continue, because he's got the bit between his teeth, not just for putting the ball in the net, but for helping his team. When Gomez came on yesterday, seen Henderson straight over in his ear to Salah, help him. Salah behind him, chill out. Let's not bomb on, let's defend this side. And it was lovely to see, you know, he's one of the world's best attacking players. Tactically, he's so aware, and to see one of the world's best attacking players. People talk about Ronaldo, oh, he won't go in his own half, Messi doesn't like running around and tackling or whatever. Salah's not that guy, you know, he's a hard worker for the team, so the money's going to be there for him to be earned. And I'd like to think towards the end of the season, we've had fans back in this year, a bit more money's come in. Nike owe us a few quid. Nike owes a few quid. My little brother's bought like 5 kits for his baby this year. That's a holiday. Do you know what I mean? And we're just the locals who maybe don't buy as much merch as, you know, fans as far afield. So I'd like to think after Christmas it's sort of going to relax a little bit. It's going to break. You know, the rumours will come out. He's in talks. They've made an offer. He's signed, and you know, and we can all be happy.
Well, I just kind of think of it as, you know, what about just to put it on a plate for both of you? What about the way Mo Salah perceives this? What about the way he's looking at the situation? So, you know, he's there scoring goals week in, week out. He's seeing everyone bigging him up. He saw last season he got his second highest scoring season at the club with 31 goals in a season where everything went to shit. He's done literally everything and more than he needs to do. He's won the silverware, he's won the individual awards. He's seeing De Bruyne doing the same thing at Manchester City, getting the wages that he wants, yet it's such a big problem and a big issue for him here. Why is it so hard for him to get what he deserves in comparison? Because it's not 500 grand. People think 500, that's bollocks. That's bollocks, honestly.
We've already spoke to
it's a load of shite, mate, about like the Salah's greedy and he wants this. If he wants 300 to 350, he deserves that. which is what I think he wants. And I don't know, like the way you don't know, we all don't know. 300 to 350, it might break the wage structure. But you know, when you want to become a big club in the world that we're going to, we're not living in the 90s, mate. We're not living in the 2000s. You've got to adapt to the times. This is just the way it is. It's not like we're getting everyone on 300k a week. And listen, hear me out. People are saying, but that means you will have to start getting play. Not necessarily, because, you know, Virgil van Dijk, when he finishes this contract and gets onto his new one, yeah, maybe he could get it, but then, you know, a few other players as well. But the Liverpool team will need to be rebuilt. Your new signings aren't just going to come in and get 300k, because we don't buy big fucking signings, we don't buy Mbappe. So when the team gets rebuilt, these are going to go anyway, eventually. But while they're still fucking great, not just good, not just okay, they're still great players, some of the best in the world in their position. Virgil van Dijk, you don't want him to go. We believe he can do this till he's 35, 36. You know what I mean? Salah, we don't want him to go. We believe with how fucking physically bossy he is.
He's a specimen,
he can just go until he's about 34, 35. At the end of the day, mate, tie them down. And if they don't end up being world class for all them years, then go out there and replace them with younger players, people, and start that rebuild. But for now, in terms of short-term success, it's the thing that you should go for. And with the lack of transfers that you're bringing in, you might as well accommodate to the players that are there.
I couldn't agree with you more, and I think one thing that also must come into his head as well, because you said, how does he feel about this? He's 28 now. If he is going to sign a deal, it's not going to be less than 4 or at least 5 years, if he does. That would take him through to 33. And
we're at least going to get 2-3 more seasons. Exactly. I think we could get the full 5, but at least 3 or 2 of how amazing.
There you go, and he looks after himself to the nth degree. However, he's got to sit down for himself and go, right, if I sign this, that's me now. That's me until I'm 33. Maybe I could go somewhere for a little holiday for 2 years after that. Where else would you want to go?
Where else would you want to go?
But this is what I'm asking you, Tony. Is he thinking, actually, I'm sweet here for 5 years? Or is he thinking, can I try something else?
Well, do you know what? If he is, more fool him. I think a lot of these players, hopefully, because we think about it quite regularly, the ghost of Coutinho floating around, go to Barcelona, go to Munich, go to Madrid and be another face in the crowd, be another player that they're going to sell a few shirts, a couple of keepy-ups on the pitch. But here he's a cultural icon. He's one of us, and we've taken him to art, and he seems to have taken us to art. You know, I don't think there's anywhere else where he can be more loved. You know, you imagine playing in an atmosphere yesterday, that explosion when he scored. He's not getting that anywhere else in the world. So you have to levy it a little bit. You know, our owners are a bit cute. The businessmen to the bone. You know, they're not just going to say, Mo, we love you, here's all our dough. If he wants X, these are going to go just below it. But he has got to think, am I getting this anywhere else in the world? I know what it felt like being in the Kop yesterday. Just for those goals, for 30 seconds, you know, they're the best emotions you're ever going to get, give or take, you know, babies, weddings, whatever. Imagine being the man. Imagine putting that ball in the net and looking at all our faces. That's got to be worth £100,000 a week. Do
you know what? Not even that. Even though, like, obviously that's true to us. We understand that's not how it works fully, but I obviously get what you mean. Let's talk about actual things that give reasons to why Mo Salah. I've mentioned the rewards and what he does on the pitch. Off the pitch, we don't talk about the influence that he has on the city as a whole as well. And not only that, you talk about the wages. You talk about these wages. With the amount of shirt sales that we'll get of Mo Salah all over the world, best believe them wages will be covered. They will be covered, and there's nobody else besides Messi or Ronaldo, who, by the way, we're not going to fucking get, that is going to replace them shirt sales. What? Son, who is another player that we're not going to get.
Yeah, you know, when
you've got Mo Salah there, who's a massive, like, we talk about him as the king.
Yeah.
He's like that where he's from. He's literally perceived that way.
He literally is a king.
If you talk to people from Egypt and mention Messi as the best player in the world, they get offended.
Yeah.
People, do you know when I said Mané was the best player in the world? I had people from Egypt messaging me, threatening me, saying, if you don't put respect on man like Mo, then I'm coming for you. Like, lads, and there's loads of people from Egypt who are lovely as well, but there's the fair few that get emotional over their guy, and rightly so, but maybe not that far. That being said, you get the point that I'm trying to say. He's massive to so many more reasons, to where financially it shouldn't really matter.
It shouldn't even be up for discussion, really.
I know. He's right as well, and with Ronaldo and Messi.
How is Adrian? Sorry, one more thing as well before you say your point, because you're going to make a great point. How the fuck has Adrian got a contract before Mo Salah, boys?
That's mental.
How has Adrian got a re-signing of 50 grand a week before Mo Salah gets his 300?
It's almost as if we could say, do you know what, Adrian, you can go, you're 80, we'll just give it to Mo.
Yeah. Lads, come on, it's like, do you know what I mean, boys?
Yeah.
We're sorry, Tony, what are you going to say?
Listen, what you're saying is right over the shirts, and you know, when we talk about Messi, Ronaldo, and you know, them type of players, Lewandowski, they're 4 or 5 years older than him. Yeah. You know, who knows how long they're going to last? Who knows how Messi's going to do there?
Ronaldo's 8 years older than...
You know, there's a vacuum there. There's a vacuum
Ronaldo's 8 years older than Salah.
Ronaldo's 8 years older than Salah, that's mad.
That's like a career for someone.
When you consider what he's done in the past 8 years, there's going to be a vacuum here soon where he hasn't hit his ceiling again. There's a place for the numero uno, number one football star on the planet.
Yeah.
And do you know what?
In 3 years.
Looking at him, he looks like he's gunning for that. He looks like he's gunning for that. He's not happy with being a winger. He's not happy with being half forward. All the Liverpool supporters love me. He wants to be the best. He wants to be number one. So he probably does deserve that money. Adrian just seems quite sound, doesn't he?
No,
you know
he's
the way
sharp,
we work. He's someone's mate in there. He's probably filled in for Lovren. And he's probably like sitting next to Mo in the chadies and all that.
No, that's what I mean.
Get him and we'll keep him there.
Listen, if you need to make the Liverpool players laugh, I'll happily get paid 50 grand a week to do that. That being said, though, like, listen, I'm sure Adrian is there for a certain reason, but like you just even touched on it, if he stays at Liverpool and he stays in the Premier League, he's not only a Liverpool legend, he can be in conversation for one of the greatest, if not the greatest, to grace this Premier League if he does it for 3-4 more seasons, because he's done it, well, this is his 5th.
Well, this is it. Ronaldo in the first time
and if this is his 5th,
he was there for 5 years. This is Salah's 5th year now, so all these comparisons that people
so he's already got 4 or 5 years in the bank. If you take that even further and you give him another 3 or 4 seasons, then you will see like magician-like stuff, and he'll be put into magician conversations.
Anyway, that goal where he's dragged it, pushed it.
But
back
I'm not
out
chatting I'm not chatting the best attackers of today. I'm talking about, you know, I'm talking about the Thierry Henrys. I'm talking about these type of players that you put him in that conversation with, because that's where he should be. That's where he should be. Right about now, with the influence he's had on this club so far, and what he's gonna do. Yeah. The records he's broken, most goals in the Premier League era. That in itself, it's just.
There's players who I love from the
most goals in the Premier League era in one season, just to clarify.
But you know, these are things that he's ticking off. You know, he's hit 7 on the bounce now, and I read that he's done it twice before, and 7's usually where he'll have a little.
8?
I think he's got 9 in 10, doesn't he?
Oh yeah, on the bounce.
Yeah. I think the record's Vardy with 10, is it? Was it 9, 10, 11 games? That was the record. He's got his eye on that. You know, and that's a big thing when you consider the players who played in this league. I look at players who I love, like Bergkamp and Zola, and scored more goals. Yeah. Probably got more trophies. Do you know what I mean? And when you're surpassing players like that, you have got to start thinking, we've got something special here. I wouldn't really buy into that he's not as appreciated as much. I sing his name every week. I love him. I sing his name probably every day in the house. You know,
where do you know what? Him. This is what I mean by disrespect. When I say Liverpool fans disrespect him, where do you rank him in terms of the all-time Liverpool players in the Premier League era? Where do you rank him?
See, in the Premier League era, to be honest, at the minute, he's probably second only to Gerrard.
So at least he knows. And this is my point.
Suarez is a rat. I know everyone loves Suarez, but he's a rat. Do you know if your bird left you for a Spanish fella with loads of dough and then suddenly turned back up at your house waving, you'd be a melt if you were to accept that. Do you know what I mean? So, you know, Torres, I love Torres, but, you know, we went to pastures new and the lad was never the same again. Suarez is a warrior and he's still cracking on, and we'll see him in a couple of weeks, but Mo for me surpasses all of them in terms of goals, performance levels, and what he means to me as a fan and the people around me. You know, Suarez was always a bit spiky, he's biting people, he tried to get off a couple of times. Torres sucked, even
that's
though
the thing.
He was
Suarez had his downsides, Torres had his downsides. Salah, there just doesn't really seem to be any downsides, and he's getting better. People don't realise, like, the reason why Salah would get criticism 2-3 years ago is because he deserved it. There were still holes in his game. Criticism is a very, very fair thing.
Yeah. You know we're a tough crowd, we've seen a lot, we've been in a lot of places, you know, we do see things other people don't see, so we have a very high level for our players, and he's probably fell victim to that a little bit, but give the lad his due, he hasn't let the weight of that pressure bear down on him. Every season he shakes off and he comes back reinvented. This season his link-up play seems a little bit better, defensive work seems a little bit better, and he's getting the fruits, he's getting his rewards, he's putting the ball in the net.
We talk about Harry Kane. Harry Kane He's not even a big game player, or he hasn't proven to be a big game player in his career. He barely scores against Arsenal, he barely scores in the big 6 games, and on top of that, he doesn't score in big Champions League finals or whatnot. Salah scores in the big games.
Yeah, and I think his performance levels are better than Harry Kane. Harry Kane's got that little talent that seems to be not being bred out the game, but isn't as respected as much. His graft is kicking the ball in the net.
And he's great at doing that, and he will go down as one of the best ever Premier League players, but Salah should as well.
But could he play in our system? Could he support us right back? Could he fill the gap for the midfield?
It's so different.
Mo's the man.
Right, just before we wrap up for today, I'm just looking at the fixture list. No game for Liverpool for 12 days, and then that is away at Watford. Obviously, just got a new manager. That would be their first game.
I think an international break will do well for us. I know you're going to talk about the other fixtures, but I think they'll do well.
So that's the Saturday, the 16th. 3 days after that, we're again away at Atletico Madrid. Come back, we're away at United, away at Preston in the Cup, home against Brighton. That's everything for October.
Do you want to tell you why every one of them games are huge, including Watford? Watford is huge because we've just drew our last 2 games. Yeah. You cannot afford to drop points against Watford without any shadow of a doubt. You've got Atletico Madrid, who are our biggest threats to getting first in that Champions League group stage, away from home. Manchester United. Don't even need to explain why that's a big game away from home. Preston, that's in the Cup. You need to win that game. We've talked about we want to see us winning trophies. That sets the precedent. Yeah. And I want us to go out and actually win trophies this season, and that includes the League Cup. Brighton, amazing season. So to this point, they might have had, and even if they have a little bit of a spell, that's a tough run of fixtures. And do you know, if we get out of that with nothing but wins, then this Liverpool team is really serious. Yeah. If we get out of that with maybe a draw or whatnot, I'll be honest, I'll be upset because I think we should win all them games. But say if you draw against Atletico Madrid, still Liverpool is serious. Anything less than that, I'm sorry, I think I'm going to be disappointed. I think you've got to win at least 4 of them games. Yeah. At least 4.
Well, like I said, no games for 12 days, and then all of a sudden in 14 days you've got 5 games. So
big games as well. I think we owe all of them teams one. I don't think we've got a massive rivalry with Brighton, but Watford, that league, that year we won the league, and they've done us. Still not happy about it, still keeps me up at night, do you know what I mean? We owe them one. Atletico Madrid, we fucking owe them 2. Yeah. United, to be honest, I've been a bit disappointed with us away at United over the past few years. Seems like we draw 0-0 all the time. Last year we stuffed them, but there was no fans in. Yeah. I want to see fat fellas from Stretford crying.
There'd be no more better time. I agree, by the way, I 100% agree. And on top of that, there is not a better time to go ahead and snot United when they've got Ronaldo back, when they've just made all these new signings, Champions League, Varane, Jadon Sancho, fucking 70 million, all these players, David De Gea, he's back now because he's doing great, and he is doing great. That would be, away from home, that would be the most satisfying victory for sure. Do you know these 2 draws? They'll be forgotten about if we just smash United. Smash them though. It can't even be like just a smashing grab. I won't mind a smashing grab, but I mean a convincing 3-0 performance.
And obviously, I'd probably say 3-1 because they will get a pen. Ronaldo will score a pen. Get your dough on Ronaldo. First goal, pen. But them type of games, they have to come out. They're going to have their fans there now. They have to attack us. If you attack us, mate, be careful what you do because we'll cut you to shreds.
Right, beautiful. I've just seen Igor Bishkan there on the screen. Brought back some memories. Love that. Right. Hot Kopics episode 9. Big up to Jurgens as well for having us down there. They always put on a good little spread for us, and we all love it here at Jurgens, don't we? And if you quote Hot Kopics at the bar, you get 20% off.
Did you know if you come into the game or you come to Liverpool for a stag night, night out, and you're a red and you want some atmosphere, you want to feel at home, come to Jurgens. It's not really anywhere like it in the city. It's red through and through. So if you are, get down.
Love that. Listen, like, comment and subscribe on the video. We've dropped a lot of thoughts and a lot of comments today, so it'll be interesting to see what you think. Big up to Tony Kopite as well.
Nice one, boys.
On the Hot Kopics. We will see you very soon. Take care, all the best. Whoa. Just before you go,
don't forget, give us a like, drop us a comment and subscribe to the Kop TV.
The voice of football's most famous stand.